Welcome to Georgia, and more specifically, welcome to Batumi on the Black Sea coast. Well, several glasses of homemade wine later, we're going to be heading from west to east to show you the best of what Georgia has on offer. We didn't get to the top of this hill automatically, we came by cable car. So let's head down back to the coast and check out Batumi. We're back down at sea level now. You can see it's behind me. This is the Mediterranean. It was back in the day where the Soviet elite, those who were more equal than others, used to come and spend their holidays. Now Batumi is available for everyone. While we're here, we might as well at least see how warm the water is, or isn't. Yeah, not bad. Probably worth the dip. Sadly, the one thing that Batumi doesn't have is sandy beaches. It's a bit pebbly here, but hey, the water's reasonably warm, although there's not too many takers today, but plenty of water sport activities. But more importantly, there's loads to do in Batumi itself, plenty of history here, and we're going to show you via the sea. While we're here, I suppose I might as well tell you a little bit about Georgia. And first off, it has its own language and its own alphabet. There are 5 alphabets in use in Europe: Latin, Cyrillic, Greek, Armenian, and Georgian. And behind me is a tower that's dedicated to the Georgian language itself, using all of the letters. We'll look close up and see if you can recognize any of them. Probably not. But anyway, interestingly, Georgian as a language is what's known as a language isolate. So it's not related to any other language in the world. So good luck learning a few phrases. Georgia itself as a country, I don't know where we got the name from, probably St. George, but the Georgians call their own country Sakartvelo. Any resemblance? Well, if we got great views of the city from the top of the cable car, let's see what it looks like from the top of the big wheel. Up and away. You get a fantastic view of the whole of the Batumi coast from the top of this big wheel, and it actually feels quite safe, surprisingly. Back on firm ground once again. Now Batumi is not all about the seaside. It's got an old town slightly away from the shore, which we're going to go and have a look at. Everything's localized in Georgian. Even the Mackie D's is written in local letters, but it would be a shame to be trying that stuff when you've got fantastic Georgian food. And we're going to go one better with a wine tasting. You might think you know all about wine, but you haven't until you visited Georgia. This is just one of numerous cellars, and it's made all throughout the country. We're going to go and try a few. The wines themselves are not actually made here. They're brought all the way from the eastern region of Kakheti, but this is an amazing place. It's not just a shop, it's somewhere you can actually try them. And they're all absolutely superb. It's just a shame that they don't sell them in many parts of the world, but there's an excuse to come, an incentive, all the way to Georgia to try them out. I don't think I've ever seen so many wines in one place, but let's give them a try. So, we're very fortunate here. We have Hatuna, who's going to be telling us all about these lovely wines.
Yes, of course. This is a wine Khareba, which was produced white wine, which one is cut from east side of grape, Katateri and Zwane. Taste first of all.
Definitely white and actually extremely good.
Second one is Kinsmarauli, best wine, which one is we have a semi-sweet bread.
I think everybody in this part of the world knows Kinsmarauli.
This is a famous wine from Khareva.
Mm. And that's not even just red, that's a nice sweet one.
Yes, of course.
That's very good. Cheers. Gagimar. Jos. As you can see behind us, there's quite a selection. Some of them are chilled in this machine. So what's this one, Hatuna?
So, we are trying classic Saperavi, which one is a European type of made. This is the same Krahetian wine, which one you tasted before. So this is a classic, and this is very good wine next also.
Let's give it a go. Gagimar. Jos.
Gagimar.
Yeah, that one's very good. Not sweet at all.
No, this is
a
dry.
dry one.
That's a dry one.
Yes, of course.
It's a bit dark down here in the cellar, but that's not going to distract from the quality of the wines. We've left Batumi. We've headed 3 hours northeast into central Georgia to the Tbilisi Canyon. It's a bit drizzly, probably explains the waterfall behind me, but we're going to go and have a look at more canyons and more running water. That means welcome to Georgia in Georgian. It's a long way down into the canyon. Can't see much at the moment because the trees are overgrown, but come and check it out. Well, rather impromptu, as is often the case in Georgia, Kah has very kindly invited us back to his house for a cup of coffee and some homemade wine. So let's give it a try. Okay, все готовы? There we go. Gagimar. Gagimar. Jos. Well, several glasses of homemade wine later, it's time to say goodbye before it gets dark. See a couple more canyons and let's say a quick goodbye. Nachvamdis, as they say in Georgian. Спасибо вам большое. Good luck. Thank you, guys. Let's go. Behind me is what's known as the Georgian version of Niagara Falls. It's a little bit smaller, but almost as impressive. Unfortunately, it's a bit dark, but I would blame the Georgian hospitality for keeping us so long drinking so many glasses of homemade wine. So we keep heading east, and now we're just outside of Kutaisi to Gelati Monastery, founded in 1106, and it's a UNESCO World Heritage Site, no less. 3 of those in Georgia. Here's another one to tick off. It's still drizzling, but it's not going to put us off. Never does. This church is currently under reconstruction, as you can see from all the scaffolding, but I guess when you're almost 1,000 years old, you need the occasional bit of upkeep. take more than mist, drizzle and scaffolding to spoil our day. Hope you've got an idea of how impressive this is. Okay, so it's goodbye Gelati, come on Kutaisi! Made it back down to Kutaisi, and we're in luck because the rain stopped. The river's a bit muddy, and not to be outdone by its coastal neighbour Batumi, Kutaisi's got its own cable car as well, so let's hitch a ride. There's actually not a whole lot here at the top other than a Soviet-style, rather rickety big wheel, which we're not going to bother because the seats are wet, but it was worth coming up here just for the views on the cable car. Anyway, let's head back down. It's an awful lot of steps to climb, but I've been told there's a beautiful cathedral at the top and hopefully some nice views when we get there. So, more steps. Well, I guess that was worth the climb, eh? From the top of this wall. Kutaisi has several bridges. The white bridge which we're standing on is the only purely pedestrianised bridge across the river, and it's got a glass bottom to it. Okay, so hopefully we're not going to fall any further down. The rain stopped, so let's go and finish off the city before we head east to the capital, Tbilisi. We've made it almost all the way to Tbilisi, but it would be an absolute crime if we didn't stop in what is probably the most photographic part of the country. It's the Jivari Monastery in the background. Just wait until we get a bit closer for incredible views. Now you see what I mean by a view. It's the confluence of the Aragvi and the Kura rivers, and then behind us you've got which is the old capital of Georgia, centuries ago before it moved to Tbilisi. If this is not a Kodak moment, I don't know what is. Difference a few miles makes. We've arrived in Tbilisi to bright sunshine, little bit of wind, so maybe we've kept the best till last. Let's go and see Georgia's capital. This is Tbilisi's main drag, Rustaveli Street. And the building behind you might be familiar if ever you've seen any pro or anti-government demonstrations on TV. This is where all the crowds gather. Behind me we've got a one-man demonstration protest, but we're not going to focus on that too much. I'd rather show you more of Tbilisi. Batumi and Kutaisi have cable cars. Tbilisi goes one better and has a funicular, so let's take a ride and get some beautiful views of the city. Finally made it to the top, 271 meters up. Interestingly, this funicular was built back in 1905, so that's before the revolution, by a Belgian company, runs every 20 minutes, and if that's not an incredible view, I don't know what is. Tbilisi's undergone huge changes since my first visit here back in 2005. It's undergone a massive urban regeneration plan, and as you can see, like many Georgian cities, it's based in a valley with a river, not surprisingly, running through it. So let's go and take another look at what's down next to it. Despite the huge modernisation in Tbilisi in the last 2 decades, you don't actually have to stray very far from the centre to get an idea of what it used to be like. Those authentic buildings behind will give you a great idea. Up to the top for another panoramic view of the city, but the two of them seem to have got stuck behind me, so we'll have to walk and get a view of David the Builder statue from around the other side. All this sightseeing's pretty thirsty work, so where do you think we're going next? I think we've just found a pub. Gagima, Jos. Well, what a week it's been in Georgia. Absolutely love this country. It's my 4th visit here. I'd recommend it to anybody. So if you haven't booked, make sure you do, and don't look for Atlanta, look for Tbilisi. So, nachvamdis. Cheers everybody. See you soon.